All right, we are live here with Groove Copy Wednesdays, and I am solo today because Mike Filsaime has worked himself into total exhaustion. So he has been on a like 16-hour straight live stream for the Groovathon. So I said, he texted me, goes, I need sleep. So I'm like, okay, we will make this happen, and we're gonna do probably a shortened version of Groove Copy Wednesdays today. In case you don't know what GrooveCopy Wednesdays is and you're just tuning this in, we are here every Wednesday. Mike, Filsaime, and myself, and the lovely Donna, who's in the background today. I know she's still here. And we are here to help you see how GrooveCopy Pro works with GrooveFunnels and how it produces copy. And it just so happens to be that last week, Mike said, hey, why don't we do something really special for this guy named Matthew, who's on our call today. And we started creating a profile inside GrooveCopy Pro, what we call a niche for him. And we almost got through with it. We were going really fast. And now we're going to have to dive back in and actually finish up today. And so if you missed that one, I think there are recordings of these, Donna. I think that is correct. If that is correct, you can say something in the chat or however Donna's communicating with people. But I think that is correct. So
yes, we have recordings.
Okay, good deal. Okay, I want to make sure that all of a sudden she appears. Kind of magical. But so that's where I would go to watch the first part of this if you're just getting started with GrooveCopy Pro. We're showing you how you would get started if you didn't use one of our existing niches. Now we have dozens and dozens and dozens of existing niches that you can just pop them right into your account. But in case you picked one that was really weird, underwater basket weaving, or in this case, it's not weird because Matthew's in the fitness world, but his is so specific to, people who compete in Tough Mudders and very specific competition fitness kind of stuff. So we decided to start from scratch to show you that, hey, you don't need to be a copywriter to fill this in. You do need to take about an hour of your time to do it. And once you take an hour of your time, this has got about 60 to 70% of the emails and stuff that you need set up, ready for you to go. And then just a few fields here and there for each one of them, and you're done. So it's really cool. So Matthew, first of all, how are you doing? So first of all, greetings.
I'm good. I'm good, John. Yeah, no, this is exciting. We did a lot of work last week.
Yeah, we did.
And it is work. There's no doubt, digging into that creative side and staying focused and locked in. It definitely is work, and it helps to be, doing it alongside somebody, getting a little help. So I appreciate it more than you know.
Yeah, well, you're welcome. Now, everyone that if you're watching this going, well, I've got it, but I don't have John walking me through it. You actually do. And I'm going to show you, you got almost the next best thing, because every single field we have has videos with me going, okay, here's how I would fill this field in. And then we're assuming you're starting from scratch. 90% of the people won't be starting from scratch. They're going to be starting with an existing profile, and the only fields you're going to have to fill in are additional fields that you need for more complex funnels, or your first name, stuff that you don't require any thought whatsoever, right? What's your title, pronouns, those kind of things. So we didn't do that part. We just skipped. We went right to the meaty part. We went right to the salesy part, if you will. And I'll show you inside GrooveCopy Pro here in just a second where you go to see those training videos in case you do get stuck. And we also have live coaching every 2 weeks. So every 2 weeks, you can come on our live coaching. So that's something you definitely want to check out. Join Leanne. She's our ace copy coach. And yeah, you can get your questions answered just the way Matthew's getting his answered. So that's pretty sweet. And there's no cost for you to do that. I know it's insane. I think our business model probably needs revamping, but we've done that for no cost for 4.5 years. So we're going to keep going as long as we can. Might have to change that, to be honest with you, because it's getting a little out of hand. But so get in while you can. Get in when you can. Awesome. Okay, so let's dive in, Matt. I'm going to show you here, and I can share my screen. And I'm pretty sure I can do this here. All right. And hide this here. I should see myself go into oblivion, and let me know if you can see the GrooveCopy Pro screen. Okay.
I do.
Okay, cool. Now,
maybe zoom it in a little, John, for people so they can read.
Yeah, this is as big as it can ever be. This is literally this is like a billboard to me in my face, but it's as big as it will be. And when I will mention this again, whenever something is zoomed up like this in a browser, whenever we go to insert a field, the browser doesn't know how, and no browser knows how to handle it. So it's not going to, the fields are going to jump around a little bit, but that's just because we have this blown way up. So a couple of things I want you to notice at the top of this, guys. If you want our copywriting pros to set this up for you, just click there. and we can set this up for you for very reasonable cost. In other words, if you don't find your niche inside our niche library, like say Matthew, he would not have found this because it's so specific. He could have paid a couple hundred extra dollars. I think it's $297 to have us do it for him. So it's the same thing you'd be getting here, except we wouldn't be chatting with you like this. We would be giving you an intake form. You would write out the basic information, and in 14 days you get back, or less, usually less, you get back, hey, here you go, custom done for you. So that's cool, and we think that you should take advantage of that. So I'm going to momentarily say hide this, and I'm going to go into the project that we did last week with Matthew, which is right here. Open this thing up here. Now, notice that just so you know, when we pull in some, I want to show Matthew some emails. We didn't do first name, last name, pronoun, position, because that's really boring. And we didn't want to waste your time. We didn't want to waste Matthew's time. But to give you an idea, this is how hard this is going to be. Matthew, what's your last name?
Engler, Engler.
Okay. So Matt, did you have any problems doing that?
No, I didn't have to do it. You typed it for me.
Would you have had any problems doing that?
No.
Are you sure? I mean, you do know your first and last, right? So we're joking here, of course. But unless Matthew did not know how to spell his last name, did not know what pronouns he went by, did not know what he wanted to say as a signature sign off, like, hey, here's to your fitness success. That's all this is. So this is very, very simple stuff. That's why we didn't do it. What the name of his offer is. I'm going to do a couple of these just to show people like how simple this part of it is. Step one is all the basics. The name of your offer. How much do you charge? What's your name? I mean, stuff that anyone can fill out, right? And this is super, super important. So what is the name of the offer? And then we're going to keep going. Okay. What's the name of your offer, Matt? Or do you go by Matthew or Matt, by the way? I don't want to call you Matt when you're strictly Matthew.
I'm either.
Cool deal.
Matthew is cool, but so it's kind of an interesting question. And the reason it's interesting is I have an offer that I pitch at the end of my my challenge, my 5-day challenge that I run, which is called the OCR Podium Accelerator. But generally, most of this copy I'm using is to promote my challenge, which is the Participant to Podium OCR Challenge. Okay,
why don't we do that one, and I'll show you what to do to remind me of this. Okay, so we can know what's going on here. I'll show you what to do about that. If you have two different offers, you can enter more than one offer here. The problem is Copy Pro is completely randomized. So in other words, when you pull in a template, it may have pulled in the wrong offer. So you go, oh, I just want to change. So you click it and you change all the offer details to the offer that you want. Or you can create a completely different niche. You can clone this exact niche and say, I want this one for this offer and this one for this offer. The drawback to that is if you change something, let's say that you come up with a new way of saying your primary goal or your problems that your avatar is having. Well, it's going to be in one niche and not in the other. So there's pros and cons to both ways. So we wanted to give you what to do. So what I would suggest that you do. So what I suggest people do is that they put both offers in this. They just would put whatever offer that you have in the same. If the avatar stuff is going to stay the same. In other words, if this offer is the same concerns, the same goals, the same complaints as the second offer, put it in the same niche. If it's not, like, in other words, let's say that what's the name of your first offer? The one we're going to do, Matthew, can you read it off again?
The Participant to Podium OCR Challenge.
Okay, Participant to Podium. Is it like -2? Yeah.
No, I mean, it doesn't have to be.
Okay.
OCR Challenge. Yep.
Okay. All right, not the best name of an offer in the world. I will tell you that, but we'll come back to that. So as long as it's selling, it doesn't matter, but that's a very complex name. But is the name, is the primary goal for your avatar? And remember, your avatar is, we're talking about, 9-to-5er athletes, we came up with them all last week. If their primary goal is still to place, right? To place and do that. Are both offers, do they both have the same goals, the same problems, the same, are they pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same.
Okay. Then very easy thing to do. What we would do here is we'll add this and we'll add the other one here. What's the other one?
The actual offer, which would be the program, with all the details is the OCR Podium Accelerator.
That one. Okay, so there you go. Now we're going to use this one as our demo here for this. Is that cool? See,
Yep,
right here, totally cool. And I'm not going to fill in the rest of this, but you would. And this is, I mean, you would literally click here and go, okay, what is this? This is a coaching program, experience guide, handbook, expert manual. You just choose whatever you want or type your own in that I personally coach you with, or delivered to directly downloaded, or whatever it may be, how immediately within seconds. So it's literally a bunch of drop downs. So there's nothing you have to write here. So, but just out of curiosity, what is the first one? And we'll fill this in, then we'll get on to the other stuff.
it's a free 5-day challenge.
Okay, great. So I'm going to type that in, a free 5-day challenge. Okay. And how is it delivered to them?
Live and virtual.
Okay.
Which I meant, I don't know, not in person live, but it's virtual, but it's done live. They can attend with me, be on the Zoom.
Great. And so so give me the time frame. Like, is that every week, every month, or what's the time frame?
It's over a 5-day period starting on, in this particular case, I'm not sure exactly the date. September 13th is the next one.
Okay. So this is something you would change each and every time, which is easy to do. Okay.
Correct.
September 13th. Okay. All right, great. So now we have, very simple. You'll be receiving a free 5-day challenge delivered live and virtual starting September 3rd. So pretty simple, right?
Yep.
Good. Okay, good. All right. So I'm not going to fill all this in, but I'm showing you how easy it is. All I had to do was click and do it. And then you'd say, how long does it take you to do it? You'd fill that in. And so this is very easy stuff. So let's get on to where we stopped last time, which I believe we got to goals. Let me see here. Yeah, we did goals. Look at that. We stopped at mistaken beliefs. Okay. So we've got to do mistaken beliefs. Then we've got to do the enemy of the customer, and then we got to do your offer selling points, and we're done. So we only have three slides to do. Okay. So, and then we're done. And by the way, Matthew, when you said, hey, this was, I had to think a lot, we had to spend an hour setting this up, all this stuff. Think how much you're going to have to think to write every email that you'll ever need to send out for the rest of your life. How many hours do you think that would be?
A lot.
Yeah, exactly. So this is a lot better than that. Mm-hmm. So that's what we're trying to say. Yeah. So this might not give you every email that you ever need to send or every piece of copy, but it's going to give you a lot, and it's going to give you a great head start on everything else. So now let's just go over briefly what these are. Mistaken beliefs are ideas that your prospect has that are myths. So there are things that they believe that aren't true. Where false solutions are things they have tried that have failed. So we differentiate those two because A, they're different, and B, the psychological impact of saying, hey, maybe you've tried X, Y, or Z and it let you down, or maybe you believe X, Y, or Z and that's holding you back. So we're going to fill in just the rudimentary stuff here of you may believe that blank. The good news is that isn't true. So what is something they might believe that is holding them back from getting on that podium? Yeah, now you've already told me one of these, by the way. I remember that you don't have enough time to train is one of them. So,
well, okay, then I was going to say that. I think number 2 is, I think people feel that they've missed the window of opportunity to compete at a high level.
Okay, let's do this one. Now, again, you only have to do one during the setup here, okay? But we're going to do two. We're going to get extra credit because Matthew's on a call, and so you don't, and you have missed the window. So I can literally just type, you have missed. See how easy this is? Missed your window of opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that the end of it, or like you missed the window of opportunity? Or is it competitive opportunity? Is it when it comes to competition? Do you want to finish that thought?
Probably competitive opportunity or opportunity to compete at your highest level.
Okay, great. That's perfect. So we're again, what we like to shoot for, and this is kind of silly. It's a kind of a silly way of looking at it. If I start writing more than this, about halfway through the field, I'm going to start questioning whether or not I should keep going. But that's perfect. We ended at a perfect level. So boom, we got 2 of them now. We don't have just 1. Okay, you may believe that you don't have enough time to train. Good news, that's true. Now, we're going to get into why that isn't true, and you will fill in why that isn't true, Matthew, when the email or the sales letter or the page calls for it. So when we know we need more data, you're going to see these exact kind of fields like, oh, I have to fill something else in. And that's how we do it. But this is going to get you started with about 80% of the data. Cool?
So where did you fill out the second option there?
Right here. You hit this plus button. So if I want another one, I could keep going.
So where was mistaken beliefs? That's in the side panel there.
Oh, no. So I clicked on mistaken beliefs is right here. It's like, now you don't see it. So I know.
Got you. And then you just hit the plus sign at the bottom.
Yeah. Gotcha. And by the way, you would see this verb false solution. So it's asking you for a verb and then a false solution. This said verb mistaken belief.
So if you ever get in the creative space and things are kind of flowing, I could add a series of those.
You want to see how to do it? So let me, this is a great question here. So here's what I want to do. I want to go over here, open this niche in a new tab. I'm going to go into your OCR niche, and all you have to do is come down here and go, well, what are those? Are those causes, solutions? Well, they're causes. So in other words, what's causing the problem? Well, mistaken beliefs are causing the problem. The enemy is causing the problem. The primary cause is causing the problem. And all you got to do is you don't have enough time to train. They're right here. And you can even name this entry, enough time to train. Here's where you get more specific. And the second entry, I can name that one too. And here, see all these other fields. The reason why we don't ask for them is because you don't need them right now. But here's all the fields in what this is called a field group. All the stuff in here, okay? And I'll show you, I'll do one of these just to show you how fun and easy it is. Okay. You may think you're struggling because you have missed the window of your opportunity to train at the highest level. And see where it starts saying transition, truth. But check this out. Yet in reality, however, the truth is, and what's the truth, Matthew?
You haven't missed the opportunity, but I'm trying to think of it more succinctly in a way.
Mm-hmm. So what would you tell me if I told you, and here's how everyone watching this right now, here's how you would fill this in without being a copywriter. It's just have someone ask you the same question. Like, hey, Matthew, I'm wanting to compete in a Tough Mudder, but I feel like I've missed my window of opportunity to compete at the highest level. Is that true?
No. And my answer would be, I would absolutely destroy the version of myself at 25 years old who I thought was in shape. So that's the answer, but that obviously is
no,
not
Matthew,
easy to write out.
Hey, brother, don't censor yourself. Okay, check this. I would absolutely destroy the younger version of me. And I would say, now here's where you would put a period. You don't ever put periods in CopyPro at the last sentence, but you put them anywhere else. So I would say with the proper training, the same can be true for you. And that's it. I mean, that's really all you have to say.
Okay.
Proper mindset and training.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Now, I'm not writing A-level copy here. I don't need to. Because Matthew, I would absolutely destroy that was brilliant, dude. I just typed what you said, man. And see, if I ask the question, it gets him out of the frame of, oh, I have to fill stuff in a blank. But if all you do, and you can start doing it to yourself, so you don't have to drag your wife or whomever into the room, your partner or whatever, and say, hey, could you ask this question? But that's what I'm doing in my head. I'm asking and the questions just come out. The answers just come out. And check this out. Now, Matthew, here's where you're going to get a little creative. Now, you don't have to do this. You can delete this entire section in every email. But if you do this, you'll be the only person on earth talking about this problem, even if you've got tons of competition. So when you're the only one talking about it, guess what? You get more people following you because, hey, he's talking about that weird thing, or he's got that weird talk about blank. It's almost like a TED Talk kind of concept. So I refer to this mistaken belief as blank. What is this myth? This myth that we can't compete at a higher level once we pass a certain age. And I just want you to name it with 3 words or less, if you can. 4 words tops. Let's name this myth.
Self-defeating untruth. I don't know.
Okay. So let's take
too generic.
No. So okay. So here's the way. And by the way, here's where you go to get my training on this. Okay. Right here. This is question mark. You can see what our hint is, but also you can come up here and you can see all the stuff that you need to do. So you can come down here, you can see all this stuff. You can look at the tutorials. And if you want to look at the specific tutorials, this is where I want you to go right here. You click on this and look at this video. This is an 8-minute video all about this. If you want to deep dive into every single field, me filling out every single field, me teaching you how to name these. So Matthew would watch this for 8 minutes. If you, and by the way, once this is done, it's done once. And we're diving into the nitty gritty details. You would only have to do this to set up your CopyPro account. So it would teach him how to do this. And here's what I want you to think of. I want you to think of something, and I want you to end it with the word myth. So give me 3 words, the blank blank myth.
Too old myth.
Okay, what I call this myth too old myth. Okay, all right. So the too old myth. Now, is that great copy? No. Is that going to enlighten anyone? No. Is it okay? Yes. But now you can start brainstorming some stuff. Okay, too old. Well, what's another way of saying too old? And I'm going to teach you some stuff here. I'm going to teach you some copy stuff, folks. What's another way of saying too old?
Aging.
Okay, another way. Let's look at the aging myth. Okay, what's another way of saying aging? Let me show you a cool little tool. Ready? Go to relatedwords.io. Type in aging. Oh, you guys are getting some really extra juicy credit bonus stuff here. Okay, the mature myth. Okay, the old age myth, the antiquity myth.
Wow.
Okay? That's pretty cool. The antiquity myth. I mean, that's pretty good. So this is what look at this. You've got a whole bunch of words. I like antiquity because it just jumped out at me. Okay, and look for one that just jumps at you. Okay, so the antiquity myth is funny. Okay, so aging myth is it's bland, but antiquity. Okay, that's funny because antiquity, means all the study of the past, right? So antiquity myth is very funny and very clever. But you could this is how I would do it, and you could look up the same thing for myth. You could go over here. What's another word for myth? Look at all the things we'll come up with here. The antiquity fable, the antiquity legend, the antiquity tale. You could come in here and find words that or alliterations. You could the fiction. You got all kinds of stuff in here. Mystical. So myth, et cetera, et cetera. So this is what I do, and this is how easy it is to come up. So do you like that? Do you like the antiquity myth?
I think it grabs attention. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Here's
curiosity in there.
Exactly, Matthew. Okay. Check this out. You don't know what that is. Now, picture this in an email, subject line. And by the way, CopyPro would write this for you, so you never have to write it. So, are you falling victim to, quote, the antiquity myth, end quote? You're like, what on earth is it? Struggling to compete, question mark. You've fallen victim to the antiquity myth. And it's like, well, I got to open that. I don't know what that is. That sounds really interesting and weird and curious. It's piqued my curiosity. So this is what we do. Now, I taught you how to do that, Matthew, without having to be a fancy copywriter by going to one website. So that's all I was doing is say, what's another word for this? What's another word for this? What's another word for this? And all I had to do it was once. What's another word for, I think you said, what's another word for too old? Aging. Okay. Well, let's find out what's another word for aging. I went over here, typed in aging. relatedwords.io. I don't own the site, folks. And there you go. and it's jumped out, antiquity right there. So it's funny and it's fun. And you can do this for every one of your things. And you'll end up talking about stuff and go, listen, I want to talk to you about what I call the antiquity myth. This myth is holding you back when it comes to performing at the highest level possible, even at the age of 40, 50 and above. So does that sound like now I'm sounding like I'm starting to write copy?
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what's going to come out of this machine, because all we're doing is we're seeding it with these little things, and we're getting a little creative as we go along. And as CopyPro grows, by the way, we're going to have AI tools that can help you do exactly what I did without ever leaving this window. So stay tuned. So that's Matthew asked a question. I wanted to answer that question. We don't have to do this in this particular thing, but that's pretty cool, man. So let's dive in here and finish this here. An approach you may have tried. What did they try before? What have they tried they've tried to improve their podium, their odds of winning or whatever, their training? What have they tried that has failed them?
Soul crushing workouts.
Okay. I like soul crushing. Okay. Okay. So that's cool. Soul crushing. Now it's asking me for workouts. Okay, let's. I'm taking exactly what Matthew is saying. I don't want to say, oh, I'm going to write it a different way. First of all, he's doing a great job, and second of all, I don't want you to believe that you have to be a copywriter. I wrote this for non-copywriters. Okay, something you may have tried in the past that let you down was soul-crushing workouts. All you got to do is proof the bolded word. So we're done. That's great.
And so the plus sign right there, I could add other problems as well. I could start building it. Like if I was in that flow again, I can just keep filling that in right there in the space.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do one more. What's another false? What's another thing that they've tried?
I would say, I want to say like, intense training programs designed by professional athletes, which is a long word and a long everything.
Okay. So let's take intense training programs designed by professional athletes. So, all right. So now we want to say we start with a verb, and this is super important for CopyPro. So what would the verb be? Like, what would it be like? Like trying, using, training. I would say using, just this, we could be really simple. So using, so I just type in using, and that, what was it? Intense.
It's almost like intense or extensive. They're just like really extensive training programs designed by pros or designed by elites.
Elite athletes. Okay. So so using specialty training I would just say just using training programs designed by elite athletes. I mean, let's just keep it short.
Okay.
Okay. So all I did was take out one word, guys. That's it. Matthew did the rest, and I just added a verb. Did you see how that worked? So all you have to do is now look at the sentence. And now the reason why we do this is because we figured out early on why every other AI tool sucks. I'm not kidding. They don't all suck, but they're pretty bad. When it comes down to getting grammar, it's because they don't think in terms of verb subjects. They're using so you get words, you get sentences that sound like English is your third language. CopyPro, never. It's always first language if you do it right. Okay, so we got two.
Can we ask a third? Add a third one real quick because I'm just thinking of it. And running.
Okay, running,
and it would be 50 to 70 miles a week.
Oh, that's perfect. Or every week, really. There you go. I mean, so it is addictive. I'll tell you, it's like a video game. People have said, like, once I get into this, it's kind of fun. I just want to keep going. And guess what? We're done with this. So now we're on to the enemy. Okay. And let me tell you about the enemy. The enemy is what is the thing, the entity, the person maybe behind the false information, behind why they believe these mistaken beliefs, behind why they try these false solutions, the source of bad information. And this is going to be very fun because you're going to create an enemy so that you offload any sort of feelings of self-guilt onto something else. It's a lot easier to say, listen, this isn't all your fault. You've been lied to by the media for years. In my work as a nutritionist, this is very easy. Listen, the government deceived you. And if you want to blame anyone, don't blame yourself, blame the government, because they created this piece of crap nutritional protocol called the food pyramid in the 1970s that wrecked everyone's health. And you were probably taught that, or your parents were. So you see how I created an enemy. I didn't make anything up. That's all true, by the way. It's a complete piece of crap. But yeah, and that's still in doctors that know nothing about nutrition. So what is the enemy here? What is the enemy of these older athletes wanting to train? And we gave you a bunch of ones, by the way, that we use. But what's one that you would say is I want you to create it?
It's something along the line of culture or, society, culture, whereas competing in athletics is something that kids do, or you do it in high school, you do it at a collegiate level. But when that, chapter of your life closes, you basically just exit competitive sports and you go into the, just for fun class, the intramural, leagues.
There you go. Our ageist culture. Now, all I did was I just knew the word ageist. Okay. So ageism is an ism that people are, you got sexism, racism, ageism. So all I did was when he said, oh, I got it, I thought, what's the ism? That's what, in other words, is there an ism to this? Yes, ageism. So our ageist, our you know, our cultural. You know, I could have said it another way too. I could have said it's a culture based around ageism. That is the real problem. But I just said our ageist culture. You know, that's ageist is the same thing as racist, sexist, whatever. Not the same thing, but this is the same type of word in case you don't know. So that's it. That's the enemy. I totally agree with you. So you could also say fitness magazines completely devoted to youth. You know, like like the Forever 21 crowd, the Forever 21 trainers.
Yeah, and even, you know, kind of the one size fits all training as well. I think is also another enemy.
Okay, so there you go. I just have to take out the word "the" because it's a speed bump, and there we go. And well, it'd help if I actually saved it. Sorry, guys. So, John has to hit the word "create." Okay, so I misspelled that, but that's okay. We can go back and spell it. So we can spell it right later. Okay, so there we go. So that's our ageist culture. Now, I want you to give me one more thing, and that's a negative statistic. Like if you were to say, believe it or not, stat. Whoa, that's kind of scary, isn't it? What would it be?
Wow. I don't know. I'm thinking, but I'm hoping that this wouldn't be intimidating to somebody. But like the 40 and older competitors seem to perform the best in the longer endurance races, which sounds odd because you'd think, you know, a younger, more fit 25, 32-year-old would beat a 43-year-old every day of the week. But it's not actually true. It seems like the older crowd has built up more endurance. That seems they have, especially if they've been doing it for a while, have more of an endurance or more of an aerobic base than the younger crowd. So that's kind of more anecdotal, but
it is also not negative. That's actually a positive. So we have positive statistics too, saying, hey, good news. Over 40 crowd run better marathons than even younger. That's a positive statistic. It's not scary. So there's a way to find this, by the way. It's another thing. Go this thing called Google, and you type in negative facts about, and what's our topic here?
Obstacle course racing.
I would say over 40. So I'd say over 40. Over 40 athletics. I would try to be as general as possible. Athletes. And let's see what we can find here. So let me see. Cycling over 50, the benefits. Just so you can find if you can find one of the things that have nothing to do with this. So cycling over 50, the benefits just don't know the potential consequences. So if you scroll down here, you'll find you'll find stuff like, you know, the stuff that you can find that will work totally fine for this, right? So I'm doing this live without any sort of thing. So, but I already know what I would do. Okay, I got this from this right here. I got this from this right here. I know exactly what I would do. But the reason I found it, and I'm pretty good at this, guys. I don't expect you to be as good as me at this because I've done this for years. It's my job. But when I saw it, it's like, oh, okay, there's something about this that we can talk to. Now, granted, his audience, they're not about weight loss necessarily, but they are definitely deteriorating. Am I right? If they're not moving at their peak, they are deteriorating. So what I just got an idea to do is like, why don't we search for a statistic on how fast sarcopenia sets in, unless you go to intense level of athletics, or that something to that effect. That would be really awesome. And I'll tell you this right now, most negative statistics are super easy. So Matthew's got a very hard one. It's a super specific, weird kind of genre, right? It's not weird to us, but it's weird in the sense that it's not, you know, it's very few people are doing this. So, but this is where my creative brain kicked on and went, oh, let's do something related to, you know, sarcopenia and stuff like that. So if you don't mind, I'm going to look up that. You're wondering, well, but how did I know about sarcopenia? Well, you might not know what it is. I mean, that I'm going to trained nutritionist, so I know these terms. But Matthew might not know even what that is, but he could say age-related muscle loss. So he could just say, so in other words, how fast are we deteriorating by not pushing our bodies further? And so what I want to do is just do this just very, very quickly here. I could find the stat if I looked in here. Now, I'm not going to spend the time looking for statistics here on a GrooveCopy Pro call, but I'm going to say something like this. Believe it or not, you lose up to 2 pounds of lean muscle mass every year past the age of 50, unless you push, unless you train with intensity. Okay. Now, all right. So this may or may not be perfect, but you get the general idea, right? This is kind of where I would think of Matt, and you can always fill this in later. So is this close enough for comfort here, so we can get to our final step here? Is this cool?
Yeah.
Okay. And by the way, that's true. So his audience, they're not all super athletes. They're not all like, oh, we know we're all ripped. We're all 55. We all see our abs. Believe you me, there are plenty of weekend warriors on your list. There are plenty of people that are like, I used to compete 4 years ago, but now I'm kind of fat and lazy. Right? Am I right? Not everyone is an elite level athlete on your list, right? Unless you have the weirdest list in the world, right?
Yep.
Okay, so you might want to remind them they're losing lean muscle mass every single year. So up to 2 pounds of lean muscle mass every single. So that's a great little reminder.
Just for conversational, when does that really start to kick in? At like 35? Is there like a kind of a window where that begins to kick in?
40.
Okay. Yeah. So that's also another one I could add in there, that just this whole process begins at 40.
And I put at 50. It's 1 to 2. Starting at the age of 40. So 40 is 1. It gets up to 50 at 2, and that goes up. And this is, by the way, not to get into a conversation about muscle stuff, but this is why we see the elderly start to do this. You think it's just osteoporosis. It's actually a lot of muscle loss. The muscles in the back start deteriorating, and so they don't hold up the spine. So the stronger you are, the straighter your spine. I don't know if you can see me on camera or not, but I'm doing something with my hands. So I don't know if I'm on camera or not, but if I am, that's why the hunchback look occurs. There's not enough muscle mass. There's not enough strength to hold the spine erect. So that's just one of the many, many, many things that we can do. And competitive training obviously is a great way to get that covered. So let's get to the final part. And this is this is very simple. We're going to create an offer USP, and a USP is a unique selling proposition. So we're going to make a unique proposition about your particular product, what makes it unique and good for you. There's a simple formula that we follow. Okay. So my work has resulted in a simple 5-day challenge, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And you could capitalize it like that. You could not. So I'm just going to create that. So pop it in. Created for, who'd you make this for?
The busy. I mean, I'll get all kinds of adjectives, but growth minded.
I would keep it short. So the busy, growth minded. Okay. Minded.
Parent or professional. I usually do parent/professional, but I don't know if that's.
I would say parent.
Mixing. Okay.
Professional, because everyone is busy, growth minded professional is great. That empowers you, that helps you, that which of these do you like? Time tested way that you could use your own, but this is the general idea. So I'm going to choose that. Empower you.
I like empowers you too. Yeah.
Oh, okay, great. Okay. Empowers them to do what? What's the benefit? What's the big benefit of your offer?
I like to talk about how it like rekindles that competitive drive.
I'm going to type exactly what you said.
Okay. Sometimes I think these are a little too like wooey, but
give it to me, man. That rekindles your competitive drive and lets you
allowing you to release trap potential or
unlock. Changed one word. Okay. And podium. Metal.
And yeah, and capture
The gold. Would you say capture the gold? Is
I
that
usually say capture your first age group podium was
okay?
kind of some of the language I use in my funnel, but I'm not sure.
Okay, so let's just do exactly what you're doing. So I'm not changing anything. I changed one word, and you now have a USP, by the way. So that's really cool. So all without now here's what's really to finish your USP. Sorry, it is the pain. So in other words, I can give you all of this without what are the things that they're not wanting to do. I'm going to give you an example using weight loss. I can help you burn fat without counting calories, without going to the gym, so what's your without?
Well, the withouts are generally back to the pain points before, which is without soul crushing workouts, without running 50 to 70 miles a week, without, having to rearrange your entire life to incorporate intensive training regimens.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. I just typed exactly what you just said. Never spell regimen, guys. Regimen. Someone spell it for me.
I think it was GIMEN.
I can never spell that word. So I'm a copywriter, not a speller. I feel like Michael Jackson. I'm a copywriter, not a speller. Okay, so intention. So there you go. I just typed what Matthew just said. Okay, I didn't do anything John copy wise, right? And that's the whole point. You don't have to. But now look at what Matthew has. Matthew now has an elevator pitch for his offer. We're in an elevator together. And back in those days where you could be in elevators together, but let's just pretend that we're in an elevator together. And I'm going, hey, what do you do, Matt? He goes, well, I'll tell you what I do. I got this 5-day challenge, and it was created for busy, growth-minded professionals that empower you to rekindle your competitive drive, allows you to unlock trapped potential and capture your first age group podium, all without soul-crushing workouts or rearranging your entire life to incorporate. There you go. It's an elevator pitch. So that's what you want to do. So now you have a short way you can describe your entire offer, the benefits, what it is, what it isn't. In other words, the withouts, all put together. And now over time, you can hone that down and you can get that to 3 lines rather than 4, but you're off to a great start. And all I did was write what he said. So pretty cool, considering an ad agency would charge you several $1,000s just to come up with a statement. Matthew came up with it right now.
That's really interesting because I did an exercise a couple months ago anyway, and I should have had it ready here, but I did kind of like an exercise of if I could, and I'd show you something without, and I'd write something out so you can, and I must have wrote 25 of these out,
Yeah.
And some are good, and then like a lot of times you get frozen, like, well, I'll take this from this one, this one, and combine them, and you're just like never satisfied with the best version of it. But yeah, it's just a nice exercise to kind of play with.
Well, you can come back and absolutely you can add another one. You can do anything you want here, but we're almost finished here. We got 2 more little entries. Starting today, you can, and it's very simple. You might be thinking, John, this looks exactly the same as what we just did. Well, okay, there's a thing that I teach called vector questioning. And I teach this to my high-level copywriters. So I'm going to teach you what it is. Not that you ever have to know what it is, but questions have different vectors, very much like you fly in different angles, but you're going to land on the same runway, right? When you're flying at this angle and you're flying if you can see my hands, you're flying at this angle and you're flying at this angle, right? The things that you have to do as a pilot are going to be slightly different than if you're flying at this straight angle, right? So the same thing is true of questions. So if I ask you, Matthew, what do you love? And you would start saying, well, I love this, I love this, I love this, I love this. I go, Matthew, what do you desire? I changed one word and the vector of the question changed entirely. So if I ask the question in 2 slightly different ways, even if they sound familiar, just watch what happens. He's going to naturally answer them slightly differently. And the reason why that's important is because we're training an AI machine. And so as you're putting these answers in here, it's going to go, you'll have maybe a sales letter where it sounds like I said the same thing, but just slightly differently, because guess what? That's what humans do. And that's why Copy Pro sounds really human. So with that being said, a little bit of brag there. Okay. Offer benefits, super easy. Okay. this is going to, okay, taking me up on this offer is going to what? Easily, quickly, rapidly, gently, effortlessly. You can put your own word in here. So easily, verb, blank, without blank. So here's what we're going to say. We're going to, okay, quickly and easily lose all the weight you want. That's the benefit without counting calories or going to the gym. It's very similar to what we just did, but notice how even I changed my wording just because naturally it changed. So Matthew, this offer allows me to
effectively.
Okay. And by the way, I just typed in effectively. Very good. Effectively. Give me a verb. Give me a good verb. And once you start thinking in terms of verbs, watch your copy get better. That's why we make you do it, by the way.
Unleash.
Unleash. Listen to this. Turning into a freaking copywriter over here. Okay. Unleash. Go ahead.
Your inner competitor.
Okay. Now, notice what we just talked about vector questioning. Does this sound like anything he said before? No. Are these almost identical fields? Yes. Yes, this is why CopyPro is CopyPro. So just going to tell you why you're going to get so much out of it. So effectively unleash your inner competitor. Okay. Okay. Now I'm just going to go right to the transition because that's so good. Without what? And we can change this just without. We can change it to anything you want. Without.
I want to say something about believing the lies that you're too old, but I don't know if that's exactly what it's asking.
Well, okay. So it isn't, but let's write this out. Believing the lies about age and competition. Okay.
So it's more like again, kind of wordy and more the atmosphere of it, but I guess like more tangible is without,
go ahead and say
without sacrificing family relationships or something along the lines of time, but not saying time, because taking time away from your family would impact your relationship potentially, but without coming off looking selfish, which I think some people think training and taking the time to train is selfish.
Okay.
So I'm kind of going off the plantation here.
No. We're just putting. Okay. So all I did was add extensive training routine. So sacrificing your family and career. I would say sacrificing your. I would say I would change this to sacrificing your precious time.
Okay.
That's my copywriter. That's the one thing I wrote here because I just using in laboring under suffering under extensive. Now, all I would do is I looked up different words for using and come up with laboring under extensive training. So we're good, but I just want you to show this is totally different than what we did than what you did above. It's totally different. It's a starting day. You can effectively unleash your inner competitor without. It's completely different. So good job. One last field. Do you have a deadline for this offer? This offer ends what?
Oh, which this particular one would be September 13th.
Okay. This offer is over as of September 13th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I'm just going to do that. All right. So act now. There you go. So we're done. Now we went start to finish. In other words, we created a brand new, completely never seen before project. Now we did not do, just for a reminder, I did not do a lead magnet. I did not do what the desired action is. I didn't do any of this stuff because we can easily do that in any of the templates. But I can come in here right now after what we did, come down here to the hyper funnel and say, I want a hyper funnel. And I'm going to go with just the normal one here. And say Matthew hyper funnel, which is an entire funnel. I'm going to use the niche we just did, and that was called what was it called? OCR.
OCR.
Okay, OCR. Okay.
Yep.
And I press a button, And in 5 minutes from now, I'm going to have an entire funnel ready to go. And all I got to do is fill in the blanks once of my name and my offer, your URL, and all that stuff, and I'm done. So while that we're waiting for that, I'm going to pop my email open because GrooveCopy Pro will email you. That way you can keep working and we don't slow down the system. So let's go over and do something. Anything over 10 items, we do that for. So most things aren't over 10 items. So I'll come back over here and just go, just let me do a quick email sequence. I'll come in here. I'll say, I'll do something like, I know what I want to do. I want to do a 3-day cash machine. So I'll do, let me see. Yeah, 3-day sales sequence. I'll do that one. So here's a sales sequence, Matt. Now this is a very simple, very short, 3 short emails that uses gain, logic, fear. This is from Digital Marketer, and it is going to be a promotional sequence. So 3-day sales sequence. I'll come in here. I'll use the OCR niche while we're waiting on the whole funnel, and yeah, we're done. Boom. Here you go. Okay, so let's see what Copy Pro wrote. And here we're going to fill in the URL. And do you have the URL?
Well, it's going to be changing once my funnel goes live in Groove, but it'll be chasingpodiums.com.
Like that. Okay, chasingpodiums.com. Now, I could have done this in the setup, but I didn't because I wanted to show you how to do it here. Do you have a sign off that you use? Like, do you say like, make it a great day or anything like that?
Every email, it's different. It seems like I got to come up with one, but I like to use something along, like I was going to use chasing podiums for a while. Now I have like chasing age group podiums. I don't know.
Okay. So let's say chasing podiums. Okay. And that's so now here's what's cool. I can create 16 of them. So you can create, once you create one that you like, just create, let's save this one, create another one. So chasing podiums, what's another one you use?
Chasing age group podiums.
So we'll just use those two. Put the comma in there because that's what it would be. So so I'll pop that in, and then we'll chasing podiums, obviously. Now, why are we asking for the name when we already know his name? Well, let me show you why. Ready? Matthew, can you spell your last name again? It's
E-N-G-L-E-R.
E-N-G. So it's not Matthew Engler. Look at this. What if this was true? Or what if this was true? Now, you wouldn't want this coming out in a name field. This is a signature name field. So any consonants you have here, Matthew, this is where you want to put them. So if you don't, you just say Matthew Engler or Matthew. The other thing is I sign mine Matt. So how do you want to sign off?
Man, so I could put like OCR coach Matt or. Yeah.
And this is exactly why we do this, because Copy Pro has thought of freaking everything. Okay. So now I'm going to fill this one in too while I'm here. OCR Matt. So Coach Matt. But Matt, he could, if he wanted to, change that one to something completely different. So kind of cool. We filled this in and ta-da. Now just read it. There you go. Came out like an A-list writer. Now, came out like an A-list writer. But let's just say for, you know what? It's good, but you know what? Can you rewrite that for me? Yeah, keep your eyes on it. We just did. And let's look at this version. Let's look at this version. So, yeah, every one of them you can rewrite. We have thousands of iterations for every single one of these.
So where would you go to see the difference between, the previous one? What if you wanted like 3 of them open and you wanted to see them all and maybe...
Glad you asked this, Matthew, because guess what's coming out literally next week? We have an update. I can't wait to tell everybody about it. But we have an update where we have now, you can, if you want to, this is an add-on. Not everyone gets this, but if you want to, we give you we'll give you an AI version of Rewrite that creates a brand new template over here, and you can change the names of it so you can compare all the ones. But if you don't want to do that, this is the way you do it. You copy this, you put it into a text document, and you rewrite it. That's what we do. That's what I've been doing for 4 years. But yes, we are coming out with a little upgrade that's going to be very cool. Can't wait to show it to you. It's going to have a lot more stuff to it than that too, including you can rewrite using our AI. You can rewrite. You can judge the score of specific pieces of copy. Very cool. But that's what you would do. So let me show you a simple way to do that. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to open a text edit document. Pop it in there. Come over here. Regenerate that. Copy that. Oh, if you didn't want to pay us a little bit more money every month to get the AI, this is the way you would do it. But notice that I've got, now you can compare now. Here's what's really cool with our AI version. You'll be able to take that first sentence and go, oh, let me look at that first sentence. How does that rank as an impact score? Is that going to be a good first sentence, or is this quick question really fast? We got the subject lines up there ready for you to go, Matt, et cetera, et cetera. So, but that's a little tease. You're the first one to hear about it. So let's look at the next one. Now, notice it's got the same things in here, URL. I can click here and just pop it in, or I can click regenerate and it pops it in for me. So it's up to you. Now it's asking you for new fields. So a couple of new fields here that we didn't fill in, and this is what CopyPro does. We only got 2, primary cause, primary solution. That's it. But guess what? Those are 2 very, very, very important fields. And you should totally look at filling those in if you really want to excel. Now, what we're going to do is, we don't have time to go into this because unfortunately I have a hard stop at 1 o'clock. So I do want to show you this real quick. I click this button. I got this email quite a while ago, but here is our entire funnel done. Okay. With just a few fields that we have to put in, like what's another mistaken belief? Well, so you'd fill in that mistaken belief. We're asking you to fill in another one so you help populate the machine, but the rest of it's done. That's done. My 1-minute lead capture video. Well, that's not done because you don't have a lead magnet, but so you have to fill in the lead magnet stuff for this. Your opt-in page, URL text. It's asking you, what do you want to use? Like read more here, click here, enroll here, whatever. So this is what you're doing. Click that in there. That's done. Scroll down here. All emails, promotional emails, you name it. It's all done. I don't need to save it. I'll let you save it. So again, I can just click that. I can add my own text, or I can use this one. Doesn't really matter. I'm just going to say read more here. It doesn't matter for now. I'll let you save it and you can go back and do it. But that's done. Signature sign off. It's making sure I can hit regenerate. It'll pop it in there. Boom. So, and check this out all the way down here, Matthew. You got a whole sales letter. Now I'm $50,000 to write a sales letter. For a short sales letter like this, I'm $25,000. Matthew's got one. And a few fields he has to fill out. And you can see where there's a few fields here and there. A time requirement field. He didn't fill that out. We didn't get to the offer. We didn't get to the offer price. So testimonials, you'd have to fill that out. And you have to fill out a little solution mini description, like my podium magic, whatever you want to call it. There you go. It's like,
so you're just looking for the brackets, and then
looking for the brackets. If it's not there, yeah, but you've got an entire sales page here, Matthew. So how many years have you been active? Now, this would have been stuff you filled out in that boring setup part.
Right.
It's asking you for like what is your my version of your primary goal. It's very easy to do this. You just go over to the niche. You could fill in the same exact thing. So we already know what the primary goal is. It's to place on the podium. But we ask you this so you rewrite them slightly differently. Remember, vectoring. We do different vectors. It changes everything.
So when Matthew, if you change it right there where you're at in the sales letter, will it automatically save in the niche creator then? So it's
for everywhere, everywhere. So as you go through this, it's like I fill in a few fields here, a few months of using CopyPro. All of a sudden, there's no more fields to fill in. Like I'm done. I'm like I never have to fill in anything. I just press a button and literally everything comes out completely filled, tip to stern, and that's how we do it. And it sounds so human. It's unreal. So I have got a hard stop at 1 o'clock. I wish I didn't, Donna. I'm sorry. I have to come back over here and stop my share screen and say, Matthew, I hope this was great for you. We can get you this if you give us a couple of days here. I can put this into your account and you can start playing around with it, and would love to hear what you come up with. So hopefully this was super helpful for you.
It was amazing.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, John.
Hey, you're welcome, Matthew. It's great to meet you too. And Donna,
Absolutely.
thank you. If you want to come on here and close this out, that'd be awesome.
Thank you, guys. I really appreciate it. Everyone, if you have enjoyed this as much as I have watching the magic of the GrooveCopy Pro software, head over to GrooveCopyPro.com to get your version of it today. It blows my mind. It is magic. See you next week, John, and thanks, Matt, for being part of this stream. We appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a great week,
everyone.
Love it. Thank you.